Hey, this is Tal Blevins, editorial director of IGN.com. Today I'm going to be bringing you a little video preview on The Witcher. Since they haven't really signed with the publisher yet, you may not know a whole lot about The Witcher, but we've been following this game for a couple of years now, since we saw it at E3 in 2004. We've been pretty impressed with what we've seen so far, and just wanted to let you know a little bit more about the game and how it's coming along, and just let you see the game in action today. So check out our video preview here we have for you. So The Witcher is basically an action role-playing game based on the works of Polish author, and I'm probably going to botch this name up, but I hope I don't too much, Andrzej Sapkowski. You play as Geralt, who is a Witcher, who's the titular character here, if you will. The Witchers are basically mutated monster hunters who've been trained since childhood to protect the people in the land from supernatural creatures like werewolves and the undead and things like that. Now you're a mercenary and you're doing odd jobs and going from person to person just to try to make ends meet. So you actually will pick up missions from the people around the countryside and people in the cities, and basically you're just going to try to make as much money as you can in the game world and try to survive. As with most RPGs, The Witcher is going to stress heavy branching storyline, but it's not always a true good versus evil split. As a mercenary, you can really make your own moral choices in the game based on whatever code of ethics you wish to follow. But like in the real world, the choices that you make aren't necessarily going to be right or wrong. They're really going to be, your consequences are going to be both good and bad for every choice that you make. So, for example, in the scene that you're seeing here, the Witcher has decided to let this peasant that he captured go. Because of the info that you get, you're going to be able to save your friend later in the game. But the peasant is now going to run off to tell the bandits in the woods that you're on your way, so it's going to be tougher for you to get around the game world. So instead, in this next scene, you'll see Geralt and the rest of the Witchers have decided to off the peasant, decided to go ahead and take his life away. Because of this, you won't be able to alert the bandits of your presence, so you're going to have an easier time running around the game world ambush-free, but it also means that the bandits are going to be able to kill your friend in that time instead of actually setting up that ambush for you. So, you know, you have a moral dilemma. Do you want to save your friend, or do you want to make it a little bit easier for you in the game world? But nothing is ever really a clear-cut choice. So even though these screens won't be in the final game, for demonstration purposes, what you're seeing here is exactly the consequences of your actions. So the decisions that you made with the peasant are reflected here and will tell you exactly what's going to happen later in the game to your character. Since it's an action RPG, obviously combat's going to play a big role. The combat is very action-oriented. You can think of it as kind of like a 3D Diablo-style game, only with a few more tactical decisions that you can make. Combat moves in the game are all contextual, so you don't control every single little move. You don't have to worry about hitting the exact key combination or hitting everything at the exact right time. As you can see, you can pull off some pretty impressive-looking combat maneuvers here in the game, with plenty of combos and rolling and sidestepping and such, and a lot of sword flair, with very little effort actually required on your part. All the moves are basically simple mouse clicks and in combination with the keyboard and changing your fighting styles. All the animations kind of combine together based on how close you are, what fighting style you're using, and how many combo hits you can chain together. Not only can you use your magic as an offensive weapon, but you can also use it for defensive purposes like deflecting arrows from incoming enemies like you see here. Or you can also lay down magical traps that you can snare your foes as they run toward you. Slowing them down are obviously going to give you a big advantage on the battlefield, as you can take a few hacks and a few swings of them before they can do anything to counteract your magic. Visually, the game is looking really good at this point, as you can see. The lighting is particularly impressive in The Witcher. It's going to feature a full day and night cycle with realistic moving shadows and a changing color palette. Not only does it look like the real world, but it's also just looks plain beautiful, and it produces some of the prettiest sunsets we've ever seen. You can also expect full weather effects in the game, such as the rain that you're seeing here, fog, snow effects, and things like that. Various potions will also let you see the world in different ways, and will change the way that you perceive the objects in the world. For example, you can chug a thermal vision potion, and you're actually going to be able to keep track of your supernatural prey in the dark, kind of giving you what we would consider like a high-tech look at now if you had goggles in like a Rainbow Six type game. There's also a quite disorienting drunk effect in the game that you can see here. And it may be fun to drink a bit in the game just to kind of get the wobbly effect, but if you drink too much, you're going to fall over and pass out, and maybe wake up without your money or your pants on. So watch out for that. We've heard some rumblings that CD Projekt, which is the development team out of Poland who's working on the game, may be close to signing with a publisher soon. So hopefully we'll hear something soon about when The Witcher is actually going to be finished and ready for us to play. But until then, keep looking toward IGN, and we'll bring you all the latest when we hear it.